Ahavat Yisrael. He says, "Beger kafar katuv od mitzvot aseh, ve'afta et hager, imtza bager avebet mitzvot aseh." כמו שכתב הרמב"ם, פרק ו' הלכות דעות. In regards to the convert, we were talking about after chamocha, love every Jew. In regards to the convert, the Torah commands us to love with an additional positive commandment. Ve'afta et hager. You have to love the convert as well. And we find that by the convert, there's actually two mitzvot to love him, not just because he's a Jew, but also the fact that he is a convert. We know that the Jewish people also were converts. We were all converts. We were left Mitzrayim and became a nation. So therefore, to show how special we are, that Hashem chose us, and He took us out of Egypt. And the Pri Megadim says, for example, this has many ramifications. Let's say there's two people who need help. One is a Jew from birth, and one is a convert. And you can only help one of them. Who should he help? There's two mitzvahs by a convert as opposed to one mitzvah by a from birth Jew, or a Jew from birth. I'm saying. So you see that what that the person has to think that look, there's a bigger mitzvah to love the ger. So now, just like a person has to love a convert who's a newcomer to the Jewish nation, so too you have to have the same love for people who are newcomers, who are strangers to a new land or a community. Right? Let's say someone just moved to the community, or someone just moved to this country. So you have to help them. They're just like they're new. But the converts are new, so they're also new in a certain regard. And therefore, there's a special mitzvah to help them as well. So therefore, this includes also Baalei Teshuvah. They're considered also new. Under this concept of making sure to love them more, not to look at Baalei Teshuvah as like lower status, Chas v'Shalom. And we also have to realize that the Pelewet says, this is especially by chinuch. We have to teach our children not to discriminate between different types of Jews, right? For example, there's the classic Ashkenazi Sephardi thing, right? Oh, there's a lot of Sephardim who live amongst Ashkenazim, and the Ashkenazim say, let the Sephardi go to the Sephardi. What do we need him for? This is all Ashkenazim here. We don't need you. Get out. We don't need you in our schools. We don't need you in our programs. We don't need you in our shuls. Go find someone in yeshivas. Go find somewhere else. No, Chas v'Shalom. And the same thing the other way around. If it would be Sephardi, if there was some Ashkenaz guy, don't say, Ashkenaz. What do we need him for? We don't accept you. Oh, his last name is this. Oh, we don't accept him. No, it shouldn't be that way. That's not Ahavat Yisrael. We're one nation. We share one Father, one Torah. Just because we speak different languages, so now somebody's no good. Chas v'Shalom. Look, but the opposite. The more foreign the person is to you, the more mitzvah there is to love him. He was a convert. And there's a bigger mitzvah to love him. So, only people who are similar to me I love? No, every single Jew I have to love. So, this is a very big yitzhara, especially now we're starting in 3 weeks, where the sinat hinam, baseless hatred, was very rampant. There's a lot of baseless hatred today. There's a lot of baseless hatred. Because the guy's different than me, so I hate him. I don't like him. I don't want to be near him. Even the people do it. Sometimes to a certain type of Sephardi. Oh, this type of Sephardi I don't like. Oh, I don't like them. Chas v'Shalom, to speak like that, a person has to make sure not to do this. Is also on the love of the ger, on the love of the Kamocha. The Rav Pinchas Eliyahu Horowitz of Vilna, he says that this is a common behavior that we have from the beginning of time. That's our tikkun. We have to make sure that when you dislike your neighbor, you have to be very careful. It's a very big mitzvah to after chakamocha. So the same thing, the opposite. To not love another Jew is a very big sin. And if we said that you could do after chakamocha by loving a lot of types of Jews, so you can fulfill millions of mitzvot in 1 second by loving all the Jews. So the same thing, Chas v'Shalom, if you say, oh yeah, all these Sephardim, they're like this. All these types of Jews, they're like this. So you're disliking so many Jews in one moment. You're doing so many sins, it can mushroom to tens of thousands of sins constantly if a person does that. Or if you dislike an individual, sometimes the person is a good person. And what do? You stereotype. You say, oh, because one time I was with one guy, he was like this, all of them are like that. Kulam ganavim, all of them are like that. And Chas v'Shalom, you just judge the guy and you hated him for no reason. Even the guy's a tzaddik, he's not a bad guy. And just because of what experience you had before, you threw it on him. So therefore, after the ger teaches us that a person has to avoid all those things. Baruch